Once a group of five, now the Fed chair search has been apparently winnowed down to just one, and the final decision could be made as early as this weekend. So says Charlie Gasparino.
We think it's going to be Jerome Powell, the former Fed chairman, former banker, former Fed governor, former banker at the Carlyle Group. What our sources are telling us is that barring some sort of last-minute change of heart by Donald Trump, the president of the United States, who, just so you know, this is why I couch it, you never know with Donald. He's kind of a volatile guy and a volatile decision-maker.
Really? I didn't know
that.
Yeah,
well, I don't quite know that. I'm in trouble enough with the Trumpkins on my Twitter feed. But in any event, he could make a change. But here is the logic, okay? Not just my sources are saying this. And I've been saying this for a couple of days now. Remember, I think I said it last week that looks like it's Powell, or maybe earlier.
Before we thought it was Kevin Ward.
Yeah. But I said it like days ago. I know that. Here's why it's almost a done deal. And the logic of it is this. Trump has two sort of policy, and we lay this all out. My producer, Brian Schwartz, wrote a really nice piece on this, an analysis of this on FoxBusiness.com. Should be published shortly. There are two essential policy goals, I think, that the president wants to get out of a Fed chairman. Number one, he wants somewhat of a dove, okay? He likes the easy money, the printing of money when needed. He doesn't want to unwind the Fed balance sheet very, very fast, which might raise interest rates really high as he's looking to recover the economy. That's one.
Because Trump is, obviously, he's got real estate in his genetics, and
they
real estate guys love cheap money
okay.
and cheap borrowing.
A lot of libertarians might not like that. They think it debases the currency. They think that it sets up the stock market bubbles, which it does. But be that as it may, that's what Trump wants. Now, the other thing is you have to keep in mind, since the financial crisis, a result of Dodd-Frank financial reform law, the Fed has a lot of power regulatory on banks. I mean, Fed is the uber regulator. Wasn't really like that in the past. They didn't regulate as much. Now they regulate almost everything. They're camped out in banks' offices. Another policy goal of Trump is to rein back that regulation, to let banks do more things, to make more money, to lend, make it easier for lending. Powell fits that policy goal as well. So you get a twofer with Powell. If you look at the other candidates, they only fit one or the other. Kevin Warsh, again, former Treasury official, really smart guy, I should point out, a friend of mine. He's a professor. John Taylor, the other professor at Stanford, the former Fed governor, worked in the Treasury Department as well. They believe in less regulation, but they're hawks. They would unwind the balance sheet. Janet Yellen is a dove. She wouldn't unwind the balance sheet, but guess what? She likes the regulation. So you get a twofer in Powell. It's all in one.
But remember when so many Republicans in Congress said that the Fed must be held in check and that the Fed should have all kinds of hawks looking at them and being able to look at
Rand Paul
and Ron Paul. Ron Paul was the original one.
But Rand is now in the Senate.
But do you think that now that a Republican is in charge, President Trump, that they'll back off on?
See, that's a great question. I don't know. And we'll see what Rand Paul says. Rand Paul believes in a check on the Fed. He believes on a tighter monetary policy, more hawkish monetary policy. You have to get Senate. And by the way, the Senate matters. What does that matter? You need Senate confirmation for this. Just remember. So who knows what's going to come? A lot of people think because of that, they might make John Taylor, the more hawkish one, the vice chairman of the Fed, as a compromise to the hawks like Rand Paul. So we'll have to see. But this decision is coming imminently.